Hi, this is Justin Wright. I'm messaging you, recording this from West Linn, Oregon, in the room I grew up in, went to high school in, the house here. I've been living for about a year and a half. I've been going through a hard time for a few years, and it's been in goblin mode for the past year and a half or so. Getting increasingly worse, and it's been a year since the last episode of Dance O Dance. Dance O Dance is a show that I created in 1997, and I wanted to access some of the creativity of that time by reminiscing and doing a little bit of a retrospective overview, debrief of what that was and why it was important. Um, so I was born in 1969. I graduated high school in 1987. It took me 9 years, but then I graduated college from Evergreen in 1996. And I had been studying dance and videography and doing cluster contracts, independent contracts with other people, producing a variety show, a TV show that went on the campus cable, Infectious Waste Theater. And then I studied clowning, and then I graduated and started work in food service. And that went on for a while, but in 1997, I started a radio show on Chaos 89.3 FM Olympia, uh, the community access, publicly funded, volunteer operated radio station there. And I had been volunteering to direct some TV shows on TCTV, Thurston Community Television at the time, and they were talk shows. And I realized I wanted to do my own thing, and since I had been studying dance and video, I thought I would do a dance show, and that show would be live, free, all ages, hour long, no talking interruptions, just dance. Initially, thought it would be the first half would be prepared pieces and the second half freestyle open floor. But over the years, it turned into just more free form for the whole time. So back in the day, back in 1997, this was before YouTube, which was came out in 2005, and it was before Netflix and a lot of things. I recorded the soundtrack on a cassette tape, and then we recorded the shows on a Super VHS cassette tape, and those played twice a week for a month, and we made a new one. Now, the first episode was in late July of 1997 on a Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, made mostly of college students and their friends. And we did that for like 6 months, was a season, and eventually we got a Friday night slot. And that became more popular over time, although uh, there were episodes with only one guest dancing for an hour, or a small handful, or mainly just the crew. And so, over the course of my time, that became one of the biggest frustrations, was not knowing how to effectively market and reach the people that were capital D dancers, or gifted amateur enthusiasts and so on. There are a lot of exhibitionists, a lot of weirdos, a lot of fun freaks and stuff. We had a good time. Our other biggest thing besides getting the people there was deciding on the music and trying to remain free of copyright infringement. Over time, we sort of let go of that worry. We didn't see any consequences of it. But when the show rebooted after 24 years or so, and we went on to YouTube, the algorithms automatically would flag the copyrighted things and force us to clip them out. And so we could have a show that would only wind up being 10 minutes long on YouTube. So, uh, why did I do it, and why did I stop, and why did I do it again? It's a big question. But forcing myself to experience creativity and produce something on a regular schedule, to have an arbitrary deadline like a once a month first Friday 8 p.m. we go live, all things go up to that moment, was is an important thing for me to do, to set up a line, um, a deadline, and then it's over with. It was not intended to be something that we would edit. It would just go live and be a social experiment documentation of bodies in motion. And so right now I don't have that, and I haven't had that for a while. It's a different feel, community. I'm not hooked up with a media group. I've been attending clown meetups, and that's important to me, and that feels like something that could build into putting on a show, leading a workshop, and stuff like that. So I'm semi optimistic about that. Um, but there's something, so if you are considering how to be more creative, that arbitrary deadline is important, and having it be collaborative with other people that rely on your part and you rely on their part, that you have to do it together, makes it something that can be helpful. It can be a real big challenge as well. Um, I owe a huge debt of gratitude and thanks to all those technicians that were with me through the years, and after the 10-year mark, when I decided it was too much for me, and people continued the show because it was an easy concept to carry on. Just flick on the cameras at 8 o'clock on a Friday night, and people will dance, and then we'll press record, and um, yeah. But I know they did a lot more work over the time that I was gone, and so thanks to all of them and all of the dancers and all of the musicians. Now, the thing was to make an hour show, and then start playing with copyright infringement, and then going into full on just theft. Basically, it was the time of Napster and LimeWire, and pulling things down off the internet, and taking things from the record library, and doing whatever. There wasn't enough time, resources to contact every band member or every manager or every record label to get permission, and then try to figure out what they wanted in exchange, like, VHS copies of all those tapes. So we just played it like it was a club, and with no, um, thank them in the credits when possible, put the names of the bands and the songs if possible. But thanks to them who made all that stuff that kept us in motion. It was very experimental and esoteric, and we played very challenging mixes, uh, not sticking to one genre throughout a course of an hour or a season. Found that mainly if people showed up and they were intending to dance, that they would dance no matter what was playing, or even in the silence. So that's an amazing thing. So a deadline and a collaboration, and I guess a big touch of faith, curiosity about what's going to happen. And then another hard part is the willingness to watch the show afterwards and make changes, do appreciations, and be, um, open to cringe. A lot of it, I don't necessarily like to watch myself dance after the fact either, and think that all those years were, it still didn't get any more graceful or talented or athletic. But kept the body moving, got the heart rate up, got the circulation moving, and we did the best we could at the time with what we had, and it still could be better. Um, so I've talked for 10 minutes, and that's my experiment. All right, thanks.